Good morning, everyone. It's Monday, and welcome to the Diana Wright Show. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, we hope you can be part of the conversation today. Hope you had a great weekend. And of course, everybody was Super Bowled out. And the greatest thing for me for that game was simply when the announcer said, "Let there be light." And there was no light. I thought that was actually very, very funny. And of course, Ray Lewis from the Ravens, the Baltimore Ravens, what a wonderful way to exit and go into retirement on a winning streak. I do believe that if the lights did not go out and their momentum was not slowed, they would have certainly probably had a bigger score. But wow, San Francisco came back. After that break of 30 minutes, I guess they regrouped, and that handsome quarterback, they just came back raging. So I think they should be proud of themselves that they came back to such a close 34-31. So all of you, I guess the Super Bowl is out. What's next? Valentine's Day is the 14th. And what's next? April 30th will be National I Love Me Day. Of course, that is something that I'm starting here with my I Love Me crusade. And I hope that this morning when you woke up, you looked in the mirror and you said, "I love me. Thank you, God, for a new day. I'm alive and kicking." And stop putting off all the things that you really want to do because you're waiting for tomorrow. Stop postponing your joy. Be happy today. Tomorrow is not promised to any one of us. You just never know. Look at the young man who came back from Iraq after so many tours of Iraq, and as a sniper in Iraq, he never got killed in Iraq, and he came right back to the U.S. and got killed. So many guns, too many guns. We need to do something about guns. So if we still believe that having guns is a wonderful thing, then I don't know. I kind of think that we're in a little denial. So work with what you have right now. Don't wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow may never come. Don't wait to say, "Oh, tomorrow I'm going to be happy because I'm going to win the lottery." You may never win the lottery. Are you going to wait forever to win the lottery? And then somehow you are not winning the lottery and you are very unhappy? No, I think you should not wait for the lottery. You should live in the moment, live in the now. Because as I say, your life changes in one moment. In one moment, a crazy nurse changed my daughter's life forever by the stick of a needle. So just consider that. One moment can change your entire life. One phone call, one letter in the mail, one person saying something negative to you, your parents saying something negative to you when you were a kid, could change your life forever. So let's seize the moment, live in the moment, choose happiness, choose joy, choose God, and be grateful and live in humility. There's nothing worse than someone who makes it and is so cocky and, just think they are God's gift to the world now, and they don't have to think about the little people they passed on the way up, and they kick the little people to the curb, and, they believe, like Mitt Romney, that if you are not as successful as he is, you are actually not that important. You become part of that mooching 47%. So let's move from that and seize the moment and be joyful and happy. Stop waiting for retirement to travel. That's what a lot of people tell me, that, when I retire, I'm going to travel the world. Why not start traveling the world right now? Right now. Take a vacation. Right now. Start traveling the world right now. Don't wait until you retire. When you retire, you might be vertical. How about that? So we're just going to try to encourage you to be happy, be joyful, be thankful, be grateful, and whatever the disaster comes your way, I promise you, you will get out of it if you have faith, if you believe, and if you trust God. Those are the most important things. Man can't do it for you. God will do it for you. He promised. So if he doesn't keep his promise, then, the Bible is really no good then. And if he worked all those miracles in the Bible and he can't work one for you, then I don't know. Should we believe in the Bible? Should we believe in all the things we read in the Bible? But I guess patience is one of the things that is just crucial for myself and for everyone else. We believe that when we pray and ask God for something, it happens in an instant. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. So we have to just wait on God and fear not. As the Bible says, fear not, for I am with you. And he will make all your enemies become your footstool. Isn't it nice to be stomping on your enemies that you thought was telling a lie on you or tried to prevent you from get to where you want to go or saying mean things about you or just being envious? The Bible tells you that that will happen. You will eventually stomp those enemies, boom, 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 with your feet. Yeah? So you'll get to the place of joy. But don't wait and allow anyone to steal your joy on this day. It's a great day. We are alive, and the weather is actually beautiful. It's neither hot. Well, it's kind of cold for some people who hate the cold, but it's nice. It's refreshing to not have to be sweating all the time. So, and you sleep nice and comfy in the evenings, in the nights. You can cover up and snuggle up and you don't feel all sweaty and bothered. All right. So fear not, for he said he's with you. Right? Okay. So now that we've cleared up the I Love Me crusade, don't forget that we have our t-shirts on the web store. And of course, it's dianawrighttv.webs.com. And you will see all the shows that you miss up there. And thank you for those of you who have joined us on Facebook. And thanks to Novlet Gale for monitoring that Facebook, because I am totally lost when it comes to Facebook and Twitter and all those things. But follow me anyway, and we will respond to you. And we are grateful that you are actually listening to us, watching us, and following us. And also, join the conversation, 561-228-1921. That's 561-228-1921. Give us a call and join the conversation right here. My little segment that I like to do, actually, before I get to that, I just want to read you something that I wrote down for you over the weekend. It says, your thoughts about yourself is the most important thought you can ever have. Stop worrying about what others think about you. Think only positive thoughts about yourself. If you think you can do it, you can. So if you think you can do it, yes, you can. Remember the slogan for Barack Obama in 2008? Yes, we can. So yes, you can. All right? He did it. You can do it. And remember that God gives you the ingredients of life, but you must make the cake with the ingredients. So take those ingredients that God give you and make your cake. Make your cake, love yourself, teach your children to love themselves, and try to give love to everyone around you. Even when they're being mean and nasty to you, try to take a breath and give love. And whatever you're going to say to your friend or your family members, say it with those 4 letters, L-O-V-E, love. It conquers most things I say. It doesn't conquer the financial part, but it conquers most things. We have to be realistic here now because, falling in love doesn't mean you're going to have money, or having money doesn't give you joy or happiness either. Some people think it does, but it really doesn't. All right. So in my Did You Know segment, I found a few interesting things I just think you need to know. and you would like to know. Did you know that the tax code used to be 15 pages, and now it's about 73,000 pages? April 15th is coming up, and I think it used to be March 1st, and then it changed to April 15th. So I know a lot of you are waiting and you have already spent that tax return that you're going to get. I don't think that's good planning, because in business sense, you should try to save that money. Don't plan for something that you didn't get yet in terms of money, because then you get it and you spend it all and you go, what did I do with all that money I just got? So maybe what you should do when you get your tax return this year, your refund, you should put it in the bank, ponder a little bit, and then spend it. Don't spend it before you get it. I remember when I used to do mortgages and work with realtors, they would have that money spent before the loan closes. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I am not going to spend that money in my slightest thought until the ink is dried on those closing papers, because there are lots of disappointment in real estate when you're trying to buy a property or you're trying to sell a property. Lots of bumps in the road and disappointments. So in order not to disappoint yourself, I would rather you put it in the bank and then think about what you're going to do with it. You might find that you don't want to spend it. You want to keep it and take that vacation, travel, go someplace else in the world. As we say, bonjour to those who are listening to us around the world. And, you know, maybe someone French is listening and they can reassure me by saying bonjour back. Buenos dias if you're Spanish. And of course, good morning for those of us who speak English fluently, that is. Because we all have a couple words that we know. You know, I know quite a bit of French, or someone else might know quite a bit of Spanish because we were forced to learn it in school. And now we regret the fact that we didn't pay more attention and we did not study more for that Spanish or that French class or that, well, Latin is kind of outdated, but if you don't know some Latin, there's still a few countries that you can get by knowing Latin. So also, in Zimbabwe, do you realize that quite a bit of us were actually richer and had more money in our bank accounts than Zimbabwe in Africa? They had at one point, well, it was announced this past week by the finance minister, they only had $217 in their bank account. Now, he later adjusted that and said they got $30 million. But I'm trying to figure out, how does a whole country end up with $217? What is 89-year-old Mugabe doing over there? And a country that has diamonds as a resource, $217. Then they have 30 million. 30 million is nothing for a country. Corruption comes to mind. What comes to your mind? Join the conversation. 561-228-1921. Incredible. As I always say, increíble. $217. So most of us who think we are so poor, we probably had more money in the bank than the people in Zimbabwe. Imagine that. I thought that was something interesting that you would like to know. So, also, another thing, did you know that you can get an Ivy League education online right now for free? Stanford, MIT, Harvard, and I assume that the rest will follow. They are actually, you won't get a degree like a certificate, piece of paper, but you'll get that education for free online. Imagine that. So for those of you who are not particularly doing anything right now, yes, you're not going to get that paper, but it will expand your world. If you can go on and learn physics or any subject that you think you're good at, they have it all online and it is interactive, I gather. So I tried to check it out over the weekend, but lots of busy things were going on. So I did not particularly get to finish that, but I will eventually get to it. So I'm inviting you to do that, to widen your scope and check out Harvard Online, MIT, and Stanford. And that brings me then to a conversation to young people today. Is a college degree worth much these days? Because I see so many college graduates working in restaurants as waitresses, doing odd jobs, not being happy, having to pay back that student loan, which has gotten way out of control. What do you think? Is college worth it these days, or is it not? And what are the things that we should be measuring in? I personally believe that you should measure in whatever your passion is. I also believe that young people should not go to college trying to figure out themselves or find themselves. You should find yourself before you get to college. You should actually have some idea of what you want to do, because the years of having a liberal arts degree is outdated. No one is interested in a liberal arts degree. So young people, do not waste your parents' money. If you're going to college, make sure you know or have some idea of what you want to do when you go to college. I've spoken to young people 2 years into college, and I say, okay, what is your major and how are you enjoying learning about that major? They go, I still don't know what I want to do. So why are you going? Just to go? Because your parents say you should go to college? I don't think that's the right reason to go to college. You should go to college because you're hungry for learning. You have a passion that you want to pursue, whether doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, or whatever it is. You should go. And then when you go, you should pursue that. And a lot of young people go to college and they get there and they want to change their major because I wanted to be a lawyer, but it's too much work. What do you mean it's too much work? It's not too much work. You just don't want to be committed. And you have to be committed to what you want to do when you get to college. I promise you, any major you choose is going to be hard. But if that thing that you choose is your passion, you will do it and sail through it and be excellent and be successful. So don't go to college. I know so many young people who've been to college want to be an attorney, and they get there and they go, oh my God, too many books to read. Don't want to do that. Let me pick liberal arts because that's easier. And as a matter of fact, there are some degrees, like the one I pursued first, because at that time you had to have a mass communications, arts and science degree to get into broadcasting. But that degree is actually a waste. If I had to do it all over again, I would do a law degree. Yeah? So, my advice to you, and I really think they should take things like mass communications, arts and science out of the lineup of, of majors. Because when you get out, you have all these people who have no experience in broadcasting, who have no experience in journalism, and they get on these shows because they're blonde or they're blue-eyed or they're pretty or they know someone or they're a doctor or they're a lawyer, so they become a specialist or a contributor or a correspondent, or their father was the president, or their, so-and-so was so-and-so and they know this person. So I think they should just get rid of the mass communications major and let people go to college and major in things like law and other science and, stuff like that, where you can come out and be an expert in that particular thing. Because as good as you are, if you don't know the right people and you don't have the right connections, it is absolutely impossible for you to break into the media. And that's why we have to have so much respect for some of us who break in, or people like Oprah Winfrey who broke in. Yes, she was helped by someone, but she broke in and hit the ceiling, right? And look at how her talent would have been just wasted. And it doesn't matter whether you're fat or you're skinny or you're pretty or whatever. It's just your moment that God has given to you. Because Oprah was quite big when she started. But she started and she was and is still successful. So that's the reason I keep telling people, love yourself no matter what it is. Fat, small, thin, long hair, short hair, brown eyes, blue eyes, green eyes, dark skin, light skin, whatever God gave you, work with it. Just look at Oprah. She's a great example for just about anyone. Yes, she had great hair, but she still wears other hair, now. But that shows you that whatever your passion is, pursue it. Don't listen to your mother and your father telling you, I'm a lawyer, so you should be a lawyer too. Or I'm a doctor, so you should be a doctor too. I'm a preacher, so you should be a preacher. I'm a designer, so you should be a designer, to take over the family business. What is your passion as a young person? What do you want to pursue? What job, what profession would you want to do that if you are not making $1 at that profession, you would still be a happy person doing what you're doing? So find your passion, seek it out, sit down, go pray, ask God to show you the light. Whatever you need to do, find your passion before you go to college and try to pursue it. Because you go to college, you waste time. A lot of young people go to college, they get pregnant, the females, or the young men get into this drinking thing, some die. So many things happen in college. So when you go, try to go with a mindset that you will succeed at your passion. So young people, my advice today, please seek your passion out. I don't care how you find it. Find it. Because we all have a passion inside. No matter how crazy it seems, if you want to be a movie star, even though it seems crazy, you can do it if you work hard enough and you try. Yes, the Hollywood industry is filled with nepotism. But lots of folks break through. Denzel Washington did. Lots of others. Miss Washington did. The young woman that's now on Scandal, that series. So, you never know. Take your journey, the journey that you want to take, not the journey that someone else wants for you. So, okay. Enough preaching. Call and join the conversation. 561-228-1921. 561-228-1921. Another thing that I discovered over the weekend, very interesting, on CNN International. Okay, someone is calling to join the conversation, and we're going to take that call, and hopefully it's someone that has an interesting thought. Hello, good morning. You're live on the Diana Wright Show. How are you?
Good morning. You're live on the Diana Wright Show. This is RJ, Miss Diana.
Okay, good morning. I tell you what you have to do for me, though. You have to turn down your radio or your TV or your computer, the volume.
Yeah, turn it down.
Okay, great. How are you this morning?
I'm great.
I'm happy to hear that you're great. I love to hear when people say they're great because, so many of us wake up and we are sad about something. And there's so much to be grateful for. So what are you grateful for today?
That I have life.
Amen.
Yeah.
And what part of the conversation would you like to join in today?
About the school. I would like to know, how can someone tell what they really want to be in life?
How can you find out what you want, your passion?
Yeah, how can someone tell what they really want to be in life?
Okay. You're a little muffled, and I didn't quite hear what you said at the end there.
You can hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you clearer now. Go ahead.
I said, how can someone tell what they really want to be in life?
Oh, how can you follow up? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. How can you follow up? Well, I can only give you my little story. Ever since I was very, very young, I always wanted to do what I'm doing. Okay? Always. So what I did was, as a matter of fact, I was one of the first people on when JBC just started. As a little kid, I was on there. I don't know how I got on, but I was on there in my uniform. from school, right? So,
Yeah.
but I was always someone who wanted to, I love to read, to get information, to share information with people, wanting to help people open and expand their mind and help people to be joyful. Always. I've always been like that. So I pursued it. I went to college. Even when I was in high school, I was always the person that came to MC something or to, do a fashion show or something like that. Always. And then when I got to college, I pursued mass communications, arts and sciences. And then my minor was psychology because I figured, okay, if you're going to be on air, you want to kind of know how people operate. So I minored in psychology and drama, right? So while I was there, I had wonderful teachers who encouraged me because I was a little apprehensive at first because you're in the US, you're from Jamaica originally. And I kept saying, oh, my accent, nobody's going to hire me and that kind of thing. And then I had a professor who said to me, what accent are you talking about? You sound wonderful. Just pursue your dream and don't give up. So I did. So when I was in college, I started to write news and read news on a little radio station called, with Gil Bailey in New York. And then I worked at WLIB in New York. And then I came to Florida and I worked at WAVS and I did start the program TCB. And that was very, very successful. And then I decided, okay, television is really what I wanted to do. So where can I do this and be successful at it? And I thought to myself, I'm from Jamaica, so why not go back there? So I did. And believe me, it was not an easy journey. It was a very, 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 very difficult journey. But I persisted. I went to Jamaica. I wrote up, my whole little thing about the Diana Wright show and blah, blah, blah. And everybody said, no, nobody's going to come on TV in Jamaica and tell you their business. You think you're in the US, So I got all of that negative. So what I did, I went around, I got my friend to make me the set who had a furniture business. I got people to donate chairs. I went through a whole lot of stuff. So I did this single-handedly. Actually, I worked so hard that I ended up sick and in the hospital because I was overworked. Right? And I went and I asked a friend of mine who was in a position at that time to call someone for me and see if I could get a studio to borrow. At that time, it was CPTC in Jamaica, which was funded by the USAID in the US, but they had a studio and they weren't doing anything with it. Anyway, he did that for me. And finally, after waiting for a long time, they allowed me to use a studio. And even the Mr. Bennett at that time, he kept saying, you sure you can do this? You're going to get all those people to come to the studio and speak to you and, blah, blah, and set up the set and everything. I said, don't worry about it. Just give me the opportunity. Because I believe that all of us, all we need in life is the opportunity. And if you get that opportunity and you blow it, then it's on you. But if you don't blow it, I'm telling you. Okay. So he gave me the studio. And believe me, Mr. Bennett, if anyone who is older knows Mr. Bennett, Wycliffe Benet from Jamaica, who was the general manager at JBC at the time, but then he became the head of CPTC afterwards. He gave me the opportunity to use the studio, but I promise you, by the way, what's your first name so I can call you by name? Even if you have to make one up.
RJ.
Hi, RJ. How are you? Yes. Okay. So, RJ, I told you that Mr. Bennett, even though he gave me the studio, I could see on his face that he thought to himself, she's not going to succeed. She's not going to do that. How's she going to do that? I could see it in his face. Okay. Anyway, so I said, okay, thank you so much. And I went on my merry way. I called up the army. Do you know that the army is who loaned me the risers for the studio, that first show I did? They loaned me the risers to put in the studio. And everybody was like, how did you get the army to do that? I don't know. I guess God did it because it wasn't really me. It was God. Okay. So you have to also have faith and trust in God too. That's part of it. So we got there And I called up everyone I knew in Jamaica to call their friends, and everybody came. I begged food for them to eat because you can't have people come and don't feed them. And you know how it is when you feed people, they're happy. So I went and I begged for clothing to wear on the show. I begged for someone to do my makeup and my hair. So I got everything for free. Okay, so the night of the taping now, I got my nice panel and all that. As a matter of fact, when you go to my website, that show that you see, the clip that's always running with Lakam Samaj and some other people, that was my first show. And when we started doing the show and we taped it and stuff, at the end, everyone was in shock. Nobody believed that I could pull it off. So I pulled it off. Then came another hurdle, is trying to get it on TV now. Okay, because remember now I only have a pilot, right? So I took the pilot and I started going to people to sponsor the show. Oh my goodness, that was so difficult. So I decided one day to go to Mr. Siaga's office, because at that time he wasn't prime minister, but he had his company. I called and I called so many times and I couldn't get an appointment. So I got dressed up the morning with my tape in hand. And when I went, the girl said to me, "Do you have an appointment?" Well, she knew me because I used to read news before. So she kind of knew who I was. And I said, "No, I don't have an appointment, but could you just ask him to give me like 5 minutes?" She said, "Okay, Miss Wright." So she went in and spoke to him, and yes, God came through. He came, he spoke to me, and he encouraged me, and he said, "Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it." And I know a lot of people are saying that, you know, this is not something that Jamaicans will want to do, to talk and blah, blah. And guess what he did? He gave me the name of someone who was his friend, who at the time owned Shandy, which was it's not a beer and it's not a soda. It's like an in-between drink. And lo and behold, they sponsored the show. And I got it on television. But before I even got it on television, they ran the pilot. And I'm telling you, RJ, I was driving in Jamaica and people were flashing their lights, blowing their horns. I could not believe the effect it had on people to see their own Jamaicans on the show talking about their own problems, their own issues. And of course, that first topic was very controversial because it was about women and men relationship and if, you know, a woman gets an orgasm and that kind of thing. So it was really a nail biter. Okay. And then, my girlfriend just did a launch for me and invited the press. And lo and behold, she got the former First Lady, Beverly Manley, to come and host it for me. So I was like, okay, God, I'm just blessed here. I'm just blessed here. I'm just blessed here. And from that, we just kept doing shows and doing shows and doing shows. But believe me, it was a hard journey, but you have to stick with it. Like you, I know you have a wonderful voice and you are a fantastic praise, worship leader. So you need to pursue, if that is your dream, I'm not saying it is, but if that is your dream to go out and sing and give praises to God with your worship, just pursue that. Let no one tell you you can't do it. And believe me, if I get to the place that I can help you, I'll be the first to give you a hand. Because I believe that when we get to any position in life of influence, we should always help those who are, you know, trying to make it. So, you know, just have faith. I know you go to church. I know you're a singer. And you should really pursue that, making that first CD. Even if you have to go out and make the CD yourself, get it printed and start selling it to people that you know by yourself, do that. That can be your first way to glory. So that's my encouragement for you today. Even if you have to go out yourself, find someone who has a studio, who's willing to help you out or whatever, record the song by yourself, do it, go out, just find the song that you're best at singing, just do the best. Because I thought my first show, I really put out that effort to try my best to do my best. And people will appreciate you for that because your voice is fantastic. All right. So that's my encouragement for you. Just go at it. Go at it. Don't try to do something because your mother says you have to go to college. Yeah, go to college and get your education, but pursue your dream at the same time. Because I went to college, so I'm not going to say to anyone. I know there's a gentleman right now, I think the guy who used to own PayPal, he's encouraging young people to drop out of college, and he gives them $300,000 per person to pursue a business. Because he believes that the greatest people like Zuckerberg and Bill Gates dropped out of Harvard, and they are the richest people in the world, right? But I still believe that if you can go to college and pursue your dream at the same time, that's the most wonderful path. But if you feel you're going to college and you're not doing well and you're frustrating yourself, you're not pursuing your passion. Because if you're pursuing your passion, you are happy. You are a happy person. And you are a person that feels good about yourself when you're pursuing your passion. So that's my encouragement to you. You have a great voice. Use it. Okay?
I just want to thank you. Now I know what I need to do now with my career.
Yes, I mean, even if you have to make that. Remember people like the guys who started FUBU? They started making stuff and was selling it out of their cars, and then they went to a show in Vegas and they couldn't believe the amount of orders they got. Remember, there are singers, musicians who used to make their little CDs and sell them out. I think MC Hammer was one of those people who sold it out of his car trunk until he got a deal. You see what I'm saying? But of course, you have to have faith and you have to trust God. And you have to believe it. See yourself in the position that you want to be. Because I used to see myself on TV long before I got there. See yourself. Just close your eyes at night and imagine yourself being RJ, the famous, fantastic singer. Enter those things like Idol and X Factor and whatever they're called. I don't watch them. My mom does. She's the one that keeps me posted to all those things. Yeah, enter those competitions. You never know where you're going to go. Don't be afraid to enter competitions. Okay? Because your voice is good. As long as you, and I don't need anyone to tell me that your voice is good. I know it's good. Okay? So just pursue that. Maybe you're shy to go enter a contest. And I know sometimes it's tedious to get into these contests. You know, you have to fill out all these forms and this and that and whatever. But nothing comes easy in life. Absolutely nothing comes easy. So if that's what you really want to do, please, I beg you to pursue it, because you do not die with your music in your heart. Okay? So I hope I helped you, and I hope you're going to take my advice and go out there and do and if there's anything you figure I can do for you, just call me. I'll be there to help.
Okay.
All righty?
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day, and thanks for calling. All right. So you see, when people have talent, it's great. Your talent is the gift that God gave you, but then you have to take that talent and make it into something. No one is going to make it into something for you. Yeah, some of us are lucky. Some people will say, oh, I'm a model, and, I was walking in the mall and I was discovered, and, stuff like that. And, like, Mariah Carey, she sent her CD to Sony. Yeah, and that's one of the things I forgot to tell RJ too. You can make up your CD or a tape with your voice and send it to these companies. Mail it out. You never know what's going to come back to you. And you might just get yes. As I always tell my daughter, never be afraid to ask for anything. You can get two answers, yes or no. And remember, the Bible tells us, seek and ye shall find. Knock, and that door shall be open unto you. Right? So just keep that in mind. And young people out there, man, the world is such a greater, yes, it's more violent and all those good things, but you have so much information. Look at what you have to be thankful for. You have the internet. We never had that. You can go to school now and do all your research online. You don't even have to go to the library. Look, you can get an Ivy League education online from MIT, Stanford, and Harvard. We never had that opportunity. So take the opportunity that you have right now. You have so much that you can choose from. The world is your place. The world is your place. If you can't make it here in America, Maybe you can make it in Japan. Maybe you can make it in Singapore. Maybe you can make it in Thailand. Okay? And maybe when you make it there, you can come back. A lot of people go to Japan or China or whatever and make it and then come back to the US. So, we just invite you, young people. I truly want to encourage you because you are the leaders of tomorrow. You are the people that's going to rule us when we get old. So, I just want to encourage you because a lot of people are down on young people now. Oh, they're this and oh, they're that and whatever. Yeah, some young people just don't simply have any ambition. But for those of you who want to try, oh my goodness, the world is your stage. And don't forget, you are the star of your own movie. You are the star of your own life. You are the star that will be successful if you just believe it, trust it, and pray and ask God. And once you ask him, just ask him one time and then thank him after that and keep thanking him until your dream come true. And it will come true. Okay? So, one more thing that I wanted to touch on as a did you know, Nigeria has the most cases of sickle cell in the world. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's not just a disease that black people get. Lots of people on the outskirts of the Mediterranean do have sickle cell also. And there are a few white people who do have sickle cell. So I'm reaching out to all the sicklers. I was watching CNN International again, and there was a doctor in Africa she's spending her life to help women who want to have babies, but they have sickle cell and they're afraid, and she's actually spending her entire medical career to focus on getting those women to have successful pregnancies. What a wonderful thing that is. Because as you know, a lot of people who have sickle cell just kind of give up on having children or that kind of thing. Was just a wonderful, moving story for me. And I really did not know that Nigeria was where it is. I mean, Nigeria is the epicenter of sickle cell. So if you're a sickler today, I reach out to you and I hope and pray that you will get your miracle of healing, and you will get your miracle if you're married and want to have a child, that you can also get that miracle of having a healthy child. Because of course, if you marry someone that doesn't have any trait or anything, you might just be lucky to have a wonderful, healthy child. So those are some of the things I wanted you to know. Okay? And I thought you would like to know. So don't forget, April 30th is going to be I Love Me Day, National I Love Me Day, courtesy of the Diana Wright Show. And you can find the t-shirts to wear and liven up yourself with them. Okay. Also, I want to look a little bit on and also, did you know that the best way to teach as a teacher is to be an interactive teacher? So if you're a teacher, you want your students to interact with you. Don't just stand at the board and teach. You want your students you want to ask them questions. You want to answer the questions. Them to answer the questions. You want to give them your opinion on what they say. And it is indeed the best way to teach, to be interactive. So that's the reason MIT and Stanford and Harvard Online University is really making it interactive. They're having some, bumps in the roads and that kind of thing. But anything that starts new, I'm sure 5 years from now, it will be perfected. So we can all be educated without leaving our houses. And what a world that is going to be. Join the conversation, 561-228-1921. You're tuned to the Diana Wright Show, and we're coming up on, oh my goodness, it's 11:14 already. So we're almost coming up to the end of the show at 11:30. Unless you fire it up and I think I need to stay longer, then you will have some extra time. But anyway, I just was reading something online that I thought was quite interesting. It said that There are 10 things that you need to do as a married couple to make your marriage better. So I thought, okay, I'll give you the challenge and you will tell me what you think. All right? And the first one was, don't try to change each other. Now, how many of us out there are guilty, especially women, who believe, okay, I'll marry this guy. He's not the guy I really, really want. Or he has this habit, but I'm going to change that habit because I am so powerful. I'm a woman. Yeah, we are women and we're powerful. But I promise you, if you marry someone that's doing X, Y, Z and you hate it, that thing is going to be there forever. You will not be able to change that person unless that person decides to change themselves. Okay? So promise me, when you get married, ladies, I've heard it so many times. Oh, he drinks too much, but I will change that. No, you won't. Oh, he's not romantic, but I'll get it to be. No, he won't be. All right? Oh, he doesn't dress so well, so I will change that. Maybe you can get that one changed or encourage, because most of the times we really need to encourage as opposed to trying to thrust our beliefs on others. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't try to change your partner. If you married someone because they're outgoing and effervescent and love life, don't try to get them into being a couch potato. And ladies, if you marry a guy that sits at the TV, before you got married, he sits at the TV all the time and watch sports, and he clicks the channels and say, bring me some juice, bring me some food. He's not going to change when you get married. I promise you he will not change. Okay? So let us make a commitment today to not try to change our partner. And as I bring up the word commitment, I want all the young people listening to me or watching me or whatever to make sure whatever you choose to do in life, you are committed. Don't go into anything halfway. Be committed. As I told my daughter the other day, I'm committed to you to get you well. I could have given up, like a lot of people probably would have, but no, I'm committed. I'm committed to my marriage, which I could have left too, but I'm committed. I'm committed to my friends. I'm committed. Whatever you are doing, be committed to that thing. If it's your job and you don't really like the job you're doing, you hate that job, it's a job, it's earning you the money that you need to pay your bills, be committed to that job until you leave that job. Do the best work you can do at that job. Do not leave that job and go out to try to find a job, because when you have a job, it's easier to find one. So that's my advice to you, and please write the word down. Commitment. What am I committed to today? What in my life I want to be committed to, and keep yourself that promise. Just the way you're going to keep the promise of loving yourself, keep the promise of commitment. Because if you're not committed, I promise you, you won't be successful. You have to be committed. Whatever it takes, you need to be committed. Okay, number 2. Number 2 is framing your demands as favors. I don't agree with that one, because I don't believe that if my husband does something for me, he's doing me a favor. I really don't. Do you think your significant other or your partner or your spouse, whatever you want to call it, is doing something for you or in the house, or whether the person is fixing a light bulb or paying the mortgage or mowing the grass or cooking the food or washing the clothes, ironing the clothes, cleaning the house? Are they doing you a favor? I don't think they're doing you a favor. I think that's just part of the process of having and being in a relationship. A lot of women, they're mad with their husbands and they decide, okay, I'm not going to cook any food today. Or that bastard, I'm not going to iron his clothes or wash his clothes. What's the point? I don't think that's the right thing to do. Do what you normally do. It's not a favor. You're doing it because it's part of the process. And life is a process. Sometimes the process is really long, and sometimes the process is short and sweet, and the rewards come immediately. So let's keep that in mind. And don't forget, I will be on this evening at 8 o'clock. I trust some of you got the information that it was going to be 8:30, but we're going to be on at 8 p.m. tonight. So if you don't get to join me today and call in and join the conversation, then you can join the conversation this evening. You can also give your questions, whatever questions you have to ask me that you'd like me to cover, or topics you'd like me to, focus on, whatever it is, whatever suggestions you have to make, as long as you're not a hater. No hating. We want no haters here. You give your criticism, we would be happy to hear from you. So it's DianaWrightTV@gmail.com for your emails. And of course, you can give me a call at 561-228-1921. 561-228-1921. Okay, number 3. Vocalizing your appreciation. Well, I think I dealt with that last week. Always say thank you, not just to your partner or your significant other. If your friends do you a favor or do something nice for you, don't forget to say thank you. If your children do something for you, don't assume they know you're thankful. Say thank you and show that you're thankful. Remember, love is an action word. It's not a word that you keep repeating to people. I love you, I love you, I love you. What have you done for me lately? Remember that song? And remember now, we are going to take up that friendship conversation probably later on this evening. If you have a friend that's always disappointing you, what do you do with that friend? You love the friend deeply. Even your spouse or your significant other, because a lot of you are in relationships that the person just really need to be dumped. But you keep holding on because you figure it's better to have 50% guy than no guy at all. No. You should have 100% guy or 100% girl, not half. You're either in or you're out. Okay, so saying thank you, very, very important. Let's go to number 4. Focusing on the positive. Well, that's my motto all the time. Forget the negative thoughts. Get in your head all positive things. Do not, I said do not, sit down there and be blue. Get into the green. Tell yourself you love yourself. I'm beautiful. I just want to be XYZ, and I'm going to get up now and brush myself off right now and go do it. So be positive. Tell yourself positive things. Tell yourself you're going to be successful. Tell yourself that you are beautiful. Tell yourself that, you're satisfied with who God wonderfully made you to be. Tell yourself. Remember, we cannot change our lives until we change our mind. And our mind is some people say they do things with their heart and whatever. Your heart is great too, but your mind, whatever you have running in your head, you go to bed tonight, as I just told RJ, and you lay there and you close your eyes and just imagine what you want to be, what house you want to be in, where you want to be in life. If your mind can conceive it, I promise you can achieve it. Not saying it's going to be easy, because nothing is easy. It all comes really, really hard. Sometimes you're lucky, as I said before, that you can be tall and beautiful and you walk in the mall and a scout is just happened to be in the mall and they pick you up and they say, yes, here's a modeling contract. But how many of us are so lucky? Alrighty. Taking trips down memory lane with your partner. I definitely think that's a wonderful thing. Because, sometimes you sit down and you reminisce about your wedding day, and when you're in your battles and you're fighting all the time and you're wondering, why did I marry this guy? If you just take a moment and go down memory lane and think why you fell in love with a person, why you wanted to be with a person, why you should not change the person or trying to change the person, then life will be so much better. So go down memory lane with your thoughts and your partner. Just go down memory lane, especially when things are rough. You know, when things are rough and you're mad and you're cussing and you're having a big argument, take a breath, sit down and just think, why did I marry this guy or this girl? There had to be something. Otherwise and I'm hoping it wasn't because of money. Because when that money is finished, there will be no love. And I hope it's because you're also a friend to your partner. You and your partner should be friends, because not every day you're going to love your partner. But if you like your partner as a friend, that relationship will be better. So friendship, very crucial in your relationship. All right. Let's see. Never siding with the enemy. Well, can you imagine you come home and you're pouring your heart out and you're telling your loved one all the problems you had with this person and that person and whatever, and that person is taking up for the other person that you're complaining about? Well, now, I think that will make you a little ticked off. So my advice, men and women, spouses, significant others, even parents, when your children come home and is complaining about something, just listen. Sometimes people just need a hug, a tight squeeze, and whispering in their ears that you love them and you're there for them, and whenever they need you, you're there. Just that assurance makes things so much better. So promise me you're going to do that. When your loved one is talking and ranting, give them the opportunity to let out their soul. Just give them a hug and tell them, well, it's going to be okay. Because as my mom always tells me, and this too will pass. Let's check in on the time. It's 11:26 and we're almost out of here. If I'm not finished, of course, I will continue where I left off this evening at 8 o'clock. Okay. The next one is, don't get too comfortable. You know, some of us, we get married and we, throw up ourselves. We don't take care of ourselves anymore. And, we get comfy and we don't do this and we don't do that anymore. No. Remember now, if you're in a relationship or you're married, you still need to not get too cushy and comfy. Okay? Because it can all blow up in a minute by some other roving eye who is always looking better than you are looking at the moment. I have a Jewish friend who tells me when I'm at her house, I always see her getting nicely dressed up and, fixing her hair and her makeup and stuff. But it's close to time for her husband to come home. And I said to her one day, why are you doing that? And she says, well, I don't like him to come home and see me looking dowdy or, down and depressed. I like to look my best. So I said, wow, that's a good thing. So that is a good thing. So, dress up for your partner. Let them see you looking well. Not every day you can dress up, because some days you're in the kitchen and whatever, you don't want to dress up. Well, maybe you should just put your apron on so you don't ruin your good clothes. Okay? All right. Next one here. Having rituals of connection. Do things together. Come up with family things that you can do together. Like my family and I, we decided when my daughter got sick and she was home and getting better, every Good Friday we would try to go down to the beach before the sun rises and stay there and rise with the sun. So that's one of our rituals that we've done. And every weekend we always try to go someplace together, spend time together, even if it's just to go get ice cream. Whatever it is, make time for each other, spend time together. And friends, you need to do that too. You can't have a friend that you never see and you only talk to on the phone. I don't want no phone a friend. I don't know about you. Do you want to phone a friend? If you want to phone a friend, you can find people on the internet to be phone a friends with. If you have a live body friend that's near to you or whatever, find time to spend with that friend. You have to be able to take an hour out of your busy schedule. Don't be too busy and neglect your friends, because good friends are not easy to find. I promise you that. So let's take time and make that connection and keep each other happy. knowing your partner's calls for attention. Okay, when you see your partner acting up and want some attention, give it. Don't keep it back. Give it. Give it, give it, give it. And as we say good morning to those of you listening and watching around the world, this is the Diana Wright Show online. And of course, you can give us a call at 561-228-1921. 561-228-1921. We will be on this evening again at 8 p.m. So tell all your Facebook friends to join us and call in and be interviewed. Talk about what your problem was for the day. Maybe we can try to solve it for you. So do that. All right? Knowing your partner's calls for attention. If your husband needs some attention, give it. If your child needs some attention, give it. If your friend needs some attention, find time to give it. If your wife needs some attention, give it. Okay, number 10, doing the little things. You know, a lot of people believe that if they are going to do something, it has to be something big. It doesn't have to be something big. It's the little things you do. If you go out and you see something nice, just buy it for your friend or your husband or your wife or your children. They will so appreciate it. If you go out shopping and you see a special little top that you think your daughter or your son would like, buy it. They will appreciate it. Little things. It doesn't have to be you take them on a shopping spree, or it doesn't have to be that you give them $1 million. It's just some little things. Buy them a candy. Or if they like chocolates, buy them a chocolate. It doesn't have to be Valentine's Day to get chocolates. Okay? You can get chocolates every single day. So, all right, later on this evening, we're going to talk about health. We're going to talk about some of the things, and we're going to talk about the 5 most hated companies in America. I'll give you a hint. Citigroup is one of them, number 5. So I'll give you the others later on today. This evening, I will give it to you. I've run over my time. So, had a great time. Thanks to RJ for calling in, and thanks to you for watching and listening. And I say bonsoir, au revoir to all of the people who speak Spanish and French. And of course, see you later. Ciao, if you're Italian. And I hope you will join me this evening at 8 o'clock right here for the Diana Wright Show online. Don't forget to go on and email me at dianawrighttv@gmail.com. Click onto the website. If you miss a show, you will be able to go there and watch me. Well, if you're watching me now, I don't really need to give you the address, but just pass it on to your friends. And also follow me on Twitter and Facebook. And thank you so much for joining me today. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day and a blessed one. And God will make your dreams come true. You just need to believe, have faith, trust God. If you love something, set it free. If it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, it was never yours. Thanks once again for joining me, and have a great day.